digital asset fund is dynamic. We're always increasing or decreasing our exposure to Bitcoin. During the first weeks of the crisis in March, we decided to massively increase our exposure to Bitcoin because Bitcoin typically performs very well in stressed markets. When the market's gapping down, Bitcoin does better than the smaller cap altcoins. But that typically lasts only about 31 days. And then after 4 months, the correlation with the S&P and the dominance of Bitcoin normally fades. There are some people in this industry, they're almost religious about their belief, and it has to be just one token and one use case and one, thing. And so you have Bitcoin maximalists, you have people that are just passionate about ETH or whatever. We're investors. We invest in things that seem cheap, and once they get too expensive, we sell them and buy something else that seems cheap. And so we're investors in seed investors in Ripple. We love what they're doing. I agree. That's another use case that we haven't talked about. Cross-border money movement's a huge issue. There's hundreds of millions of people that migrate around the world to earn money to send back to their families. The 140-year-old strongest player in the space, Western Union, they charge on average 8%. And for us in finance, 800 basis points, whatever, it's just a number. For the migrant, that's a month's wages. They have to spend an entire month working to pay their remittance company. And with cryptocurrency, you can send it essentially free and essentially real time, but not everyone knows how to download Bitcoin QT on their laptop and all that stuff. So they're willing to pay companies that help them do that. And we're invested in a dozen or so companies around the world that help migrants send money, across borders. And that's a great example of how blockchain is really coming of own in this crisis. The companies we're invested in have seen over 100% growth since the beginning of the pandemic because it's hard to send money via traditional means now. Banks are closed, all these things are becoming harder, whereas with crypto, you can send it, natively on the internet.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher, and guys, please like and subscribe. If you do like what you're listening to, please inform your friends and family and spread it all over social media. It is imperative that we get back to learning finances and understand how the world really works, because once we understand how the world really works, we understand that everything is planned out. Now, I want to thank those who purchased the books, Cryptoteacher and NWO book. Also, those who donate to the Cash App, Patreon, much love. And then also, those who are shopping at the store, blowing the store up, much love to you. Now, guys, of course, we're going to get into Bitcoin and cryptos first. Basically, as we can see, altcoins right now are pumping. Of course, the Defi is pumping. And then also, Bitcoin got a little left. Now, what do we see? We see Defi has pumped. It has taken some of the Bitcoin dominance. So right now, Bitcoin is at 55%. So what do we know Bitcoin is going to do? That's right, it's going to go up. So basically, we know that Bitcoin keeps around 57 to 62% of the market cap. So we know for a fact that Bitcoin is going to be headed up as long as the DeFi market stays where it's at. Now, the fact is that what also did we see? Remember, we stay focused on the indicators. XRP, Tether, and volume. We also saw Tether get another few hundred million. So guys, they keep pumping Tether. And what does this remind us of? The whole 2018, while all the cryptos were going down, we saw Tether just slowly being pumped. And that's what we're seeing right now. Also, basically, Bitfinex moved 1 billion of Tether over to Binance. That's crazy. Out of this world. But guys, we know basically the Tron network, Justin always posts, basically we have Bitfinex, BitMEX, Binance, all of them with tons of this Tether sitting on the chain. Now guys, getting over into crypto news. Now we have BAC, of course we know we have BAC on the 16th. Now BAC trade contracts were down by 23%. So what does that mean for next month? We're going to have less volatility. And then also, basically, the open interest was up by 2%. But the fact is, guys, we know that going into November is going to be wild. Why? Because it's election. We know that the Fed has to keep up the stock market for the masses. The masses just want to make sure the 401ks and pensions are looking right. Even though pensions are bankrupt, as long as they're looking right, they're fine. So we know the fact is they have to keep the stock market up. But the fact is that, of course, cryptos, we're still going to be staying steady. This is a gambling casino, guys. Cryptos is all speculation. I'm going to get into that. Now, we have Dan Moore basically speaking that DeFi will outperform Bitcoin over the next 5 years with Pantera Capital. Now, is this correct? No. We know a billionaire is not going to tell us the truth. He's an ex-Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank, and I'm getting to Deutsche Bank later. But basically, let's look over some of the investments that they made. So we have Ripple, we have Ampleforth, we have Zcash, Polkadot, and then all types of gaming. Guys, make sure you're looking at this portfolio and investing. They're just like Mark Andreessen's A16Z. We know that they don't lose. The fact is that basically they're investing in these companies for a reason, because they know where we're headed. But the fact is that right now, guys, cryptos is nothing but speculation. That's why I say get in, learn how to trade, margin trade. So therefore, you're making money whether it's going up or down. Because the fact is, guys, we're not using it right now. Utility is just not there. So right now, it's nothing but a big casino. That's all DeFi is. That's all it is, guys. Now, basically, we had Coinbase. Well, I did the video yesterday as far as Coinbase. Make sure you check it out, Brian Armstrong. Once they list Yearn Finance, what happens? It goes up. Nothing but a big casino. Basically, we have Binance basically come out as far as with the yield farming rankings. Basically says high risk, high reward. Guys, that's gambling talk. That's all this is, a big casino. Make sure you're doing your research. Make sure you're doing your studying. It's easy money, guys. If you understand the markets, you understand the Fed is controlling both. It's easy money. You know whether it's going up or down. Now, guys, getting over into world news. We have Deutsche Bank hires Robert Kimmett, basically to help them as far as the watch is concerned. Guys, I can go over Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank is in my NWO book. I can go over all the illegal things they've done, settlements. And you still don't hear about all the trillions and trillions of dollars of derivatives that they have. But lastly, guys, Clifford Harris Jr., anybody who knows him, that's T.I., they use his government name on here, but settles the SEC fraudulent ICO. But guys, that's all I have for you. I left a video of Dan Moorhead going over basically his analysis. But guys, don't forget about the books, Cryptoteacher NWO book. Also, cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Also, stocks, your chip stocks, Cobalt, gaming, banking stocks. Also, everybody sitting at home, don't forget about those stocks. The C-word, the biotech stocks are still pumping and dumping. And then also, because everybody's sitting at home getting free money or waiting on free money, what are they doing? That's right, drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and y'all have a wonderful day.
I've been invested in a lot of DeFi protocols for many years, and it wasn't working previously. The world does change very quickly. In the last couple of months, the world's kind of woken up to DeFi, and the capital's flowed into space. So the negative performance we saw last year has been flipped completely the opposite. Our digital asset fund's up 123% this year. Bitcoin's up about 60. So when a technology is disruptive, they call it a category killer. Blockchain's a serial killer. It's going to go through dozens and dozens of different industries, revolutionize so many different things. One of them is store wealth and, digital gold. That's awesome. But then there's also DeFi and, so many other use cases. The way I would say it is it's already done a great job as store of wealth. Bitcoin has a $215 billion market cap. That's great. It's already achieved that well. Whereas the other use cases like DeFi are still just in their nascent state. DeFi has a market cap now of about $4 billion. If you're looking at Bitcoin at 215 or DeFi at 4 billion, it seems like DeFi is cheaper, right? Like it's a very huge, important use case. And from here, like you said, our first fund is up 17,000%. That's awesome. I don't think you can go up 100x from there, right? It's just at that point you're getting to 20 trillion. That's that's getting very, very large relative to the world or money or all the different scales you could put on it. But DeFi, it could go to 400 billion. There's no reason that couldn't happen. So you have much more upside, I think, in these small altcoins, DeFi protocols. We own a ton of Bitcoins, and it maybe could go to 1 million, but that is 100x from here. And to me, that's kind of, that's really the edge of possibility, because you're getting into a number that's 20 trillion, and all money on earth is only 100 trillion, so you're really getting to a huge thing at that point. So I think it's possible, and it's not like I'm saying it can't happen, but I think it's much more likely that the entire DeFi space goes up 100x over the next 5 years than Bitcoin. And again, it's not to take anything away from Bitcoin. Bitcoin's great. We own 63% of it. It's awesome. It's just these other protocols have much more upside because they just haven't been proven. Bitcoin's 11 years old. It's done a lot. DeFi is basically just starting to happen.